Hello and welcome back to the Daily Dishes. Today we are baking maple roasted pecan brownies. What you will need is 2/3 of a cup of pecans, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, 150 grams of butter chopped, 200 grams of dark chocolate chopped, 1.5 cups of firmly packed brown sugar, 3 eggs lightly beaten, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 cup of plain flour, 1/4 of a cup of cocoa powder, and double cream to serve. There are a few ingredients and there are a few steps, but the steps are easy and you will end up with a delicious treat to enjoy. Step is to turn on your oven. So preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, and if you have a fan forced oven it's 160 degrees. Line a baking tray with baking paper. Place the pecans on the prepared tray. Drizzle 1 tablespoon of maple syrup over your pecans and stir it through. Do not be tempted to pour any more maple syrup. All it will do is burn your pecans because of the sugar. 1 tablespoon is absolutely enough. Please trust me, you'll see. So once you've done that, place them in your hot oven for 10 minutes. You'll need to stir them at the 5-minute mark to make sure they crisp all over, and then set aside to cool. So when they come out of the oven, they should look like this. Don't be tempted to have a sneaky taste. It's molten sugar. It will burn your mouth. So set these aside to cool and we'll get on with the next step. Next, place your butter and your chocolate into a small saucepan, and you're going to cook this over a low heat, stirring constantly. What you want to look for is no butter. So once you can't see any butter, it should be ready. You're looking for a chocolate fondue-like consistency. And then once you've got that, you set it aside for 10 minutes to cool. While you're waiting for your butter and chocolate to cool, line a brownie baking tray with baking paper. This will make sure that your brownie doesn't stick. Next, give your 3 eggs a really good whisk. Make sure that they're well combined, and this will help your brownies rise nicely. Now that your butter and chocolate should be sufficiently cool, it's time to start building your brownies. So first, add your vanilla extract and mix that through. Okay folks, I promise you we are nearly there. So next we add our brown sugar, remembering that it is tightly packed into your measuring container, so you will need to coax it out with a spoon. Don't do it too quickly, otherwise you'll end up with sugar everywhere. Once you've added the sugar, give it a bit of a mix to combine, and then add your eggs. And the same thing, give them a mix. Chocolate and eggs are not good friends and they don't necessarily play well together, so you will need to give it a bit of a mix to give them encouragement to meld. The next thing you do is you add your flour and your cocoa. I always sieve my flour and cocoa. You don't necessarily have to. I do find by sieving it gives you a smoother brownie. Stir in your flour and your cocoa into your mixture. You want to stir this so that you cannot see any more flour or loose cocoa, but don't over mix. Less is more in this case. So now it's time to pour your mixture. This is a very ooey gooey yummy mixture, so it will take time to spread out and it won't move on its own very quickly. So dump it all into your pan and spread it evenly as you can in the pan. So push your brownie mixture into each of the corners and make sure that your mixture is even throughout. This will ensure that it's cooked evenly and you won't have any under or overcooked brownies when you serve. Next step is to place your maple roasted pecans on your brownie mixture. You can do this haphazardly like I have, or you can strategically place. I also add the little bits of roasted maple for that extra effect. When you're happy with where your pecans are on your brownie mix, place it into your oven, which you've already preheated, and bake for 25 minutes or until just set. These are meant to be gooey. So your brownies should look like this when they're out of the oven. It's important that you leave them to cool completely in the pan, remembering they are a gooey brownie. If you were to cut into them now, they'd just fall apart. Once you have allowed your brownie to cool completely, it's time to cut. Now I will say to you, if you are after a teeny tiny piece of brownie with nice clean lines, this recipe is not going to give you that. This is an ooey gooey brownie, and as a result the cut can be a little bit messy. But never fear and persevere, you will get there. So cut your brownies like you would any other brownie, just straight down and cut into squares or oblongs. It will look messy, but that's part of the charm. Also, as a little bit of a cook's reward, there is brownie mix left on the knife. Feel free to use your finger to remove that brownie mix from the knife and put straight in your mouth. It's certainly a reward for your hard effort. There you have it, the finished brownie. Now I did warn you that they weren't very pretty looking after being cut, but don't let their looks dissuade you. They are delicious, ready to enjoy with a nice dollop of double cream or a nice cold glass of iced coffee. Either way, they are delicious. So thank you very much for watching. I look forward to hearing your feedback and hearing how you have gone. And until next time, it's goodbye from the Daily Dishes. Ciao!